I started mushing dogs when I was about 3 years old. My dad used to call me a puppy trainer. He said that was like my role. So I got chased by a lot of puppies in my day. My name is Kanelsa Noksana. I'm an Inuvialuk from Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories. My traditional name in my language, Inuvialukton, is Noksana. So when I was younger, Tuktoyaktuk was an isolated community. So like in the winters, you can only drive in on the ice road or you would have to fly in. So it was very small. It's a community of only like 1,000 people. My dad made it a really big thing for us growing up that we knew our culture. Sled dogs were really important to the Inuit because they were more than just man's best friend. They were also transportation. That's how Inuit were able to travel across the frozen tundra and land, was through sled dogs. And yeah, they were also just a big part of your family. It was always very important, and that's one thing that elders have always told me, is that you have to love and respect your sled dogs because they're so important to your living, like they're so vital, that you treat them as part of your family. The two types of breeds of dogs we have is Alaskan Husky and Alaskan Hound. The reason we have those specific dogs is because of their size, their speed, and like basically how fluffy they are. You want the Alaskan Husky because they're so fluffy they can survive out in the cold, but you want the Alaskan Hound because they're smaller and they're fast dogs. But when you have pulling dogs, you want bigger dogs. And they do love to run. Like once you're setting up your dog sled and they know that they're going, they'll just start jumping and they want to go. And even when you put them in their harnesses and tie them to the sled, they're pulling. They want to run so bad. There's two types of ways for running dogs. Back in the day, which is more Eastern Arctic, it was called like a fan line, and the dogs were spread out because when they were getting pulled on the ice, if the ice was thin and a dog fell in, it would just be that one dog that fell in. It wouldn't pull the other dogs. And then so you could just kind of like pull them back out, where what we use now is called a straight harness. And those are where the dogs are connected 2 by 2 in a line. We use that now because now we know like when not to be on the ice when it's thin. You have the leaders that are in front. They're usually your smaller, faster dogs. They're also your smartest dogs because these are the dogs you train to go left and right, or you'd say mush, or hike to go straight or to run. And then you would say G for right and then chaw for left. The point dogs are always behind your leaders. They're the ones who also help guide the team. At the very back, closest to your sled, you have your wheel dogs. These are your dogs that you want to be bigger because they're the ones who are doing most of the pulling of the sled. And then all the dogs in between the point dogs and the wheel dogs are called the team dogs. And they're just there to help pull, help regulate the speed and everything. One of the questions I always get is people are like, how do you remember all the dogs' names? Because every single one of my dogs has a different name, and right now we have close to 40 dogs, and I do know every single one of their names. It's like when you're a teacher and you have so many students, you start to know their name by their characteristics. One of my favorites his name was Donut. So my nephew named him Donut because he thought it would be really funny that a dog would be named Donut, and he became such a big dog, but he was like the biggest teddy bear. And so when you pet him, he'd go, "Arr, roar, 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 roar." So yeah, it was great having that growing up. I felt like that was my playground, right? Getting to be with dogs and running around them and having puppies all the time. Like the amount of dogs I've had or seen in my life is unbelievable.